Hi, my name is Megan and I have lupus. Obviously, if you're looking at this, you probably also do. It's so hard with this disease because most of the time you don't know many people, and if you do know someone that has it, two stories are never alike. But this is me. I hate being without makeup. I mean, truly, I never go out of the house without my face on, or like my mask, as I like to call it, because you see just how sick I am. And I hate letting the outside world know that I'm sick. It's something that I try and hide as much as I can, however, as long as I can. Like, most friends don't even know about it until I have no choice. Or, my kids rat me out by accident, like, oh, my mom does chemo. And they're like, oh my gosh, why does your mom do chemo? Well, she has to do chemo for her lupus. And so people, they eventually know, but it's just something that can be kind of embarrassing that you're this sick at this young of an age. So I have come up with a few different tricks for dealing with molar rashes or the butterfly rash, or dealing with just your face in general. Also your hands, like my hands, you can see there's a couple spots over in here and on this one where, I have the Raynaud's, but I also have rashes that come quite often there. Through here is where I tend to get my butterfly rash. And if you look close, this is puffy and it has a little bit of a scab, but not much of one. And this side is similar. This one still hurts though, so I know that it's not quite done. So basically, through here, I have so much scar tissue that if one of these breaks open, it's a good month and a half until I can get it to heal and to close. So I thought, while I have this, I might as well get on and show other people how I deal with it, and maybe it'll help you, because if nothing else, we should all stick together. So this is just what I do. It might be different for someone else. It might work better for someone else. I don't know, but this is what I do. Starting with the first product, it's called Wonderlift. And I'm not sure if you've seen this on Facebook or even on YouTube before or any of that, but this has been really great for me when dealing with open skin. It puts a nice little cover on top of whatever you're trying to hide. So I'm going to go ahead and apply it right in here. And basically what you do is you give it a good coating, and then it takes a minute to settle and harden up. So I'm going to just put a little bit also, because I have bags under my eye from lack of sleep. Sometimes when you lay in bed you hurt so bad you can't sleep. So I feel like I perpetually always have these really ugly dark circles. So I'm going to go ahead and put that on this side, even though it hasn't broken open yet, just for some of the swelling and puffiness. And I'm doing a short, light, little bounces, I guess, is what you can call it, underneath the eye, because you don't want any tugging. And then I'm going to put some up here and over here, just areas where I have blemishes. And then I'm not sure if you're this way, but I've heard the statistics say that if you have an autoimmune disease, most of the time you most likely get shingles. And I have had shingles, and I had it actually on my face through here, down, and then all the way over here. So I have quite a bit of scarring from that, to also add into, my different lupus areas. But those are things that I try to hide every day as well, because no one wants to see an ugly scar. I mean, at least I don't. Anyways, So let's get started. As that dries, I'm going to go ahead and show you. I use this Anastasia stick. And it's dual-ended, and one side is the like shiny, shimmery, and one side is just like a cover stick. And so I use that right up here, just to kind of clean up my eyebrow area, which, by the way, I have to draw on my eyebrows every single day because when I started doing chemo, I lost my eyebrows. So it's been quite the process of trying to figure out how to draw eyebrows and make them even and symmetrical and just looking normal. Like, there's some days they're just way too big, and then there's some days that I'm like, did I forget to do them? So anyway, so I'm gonna go ahead and just clean up this area because ultimately you want your eyes to be the center of attention. That way people aren't just staring at your rashes. Now, I get eye issues from my Sjogren's as well. So I actually had to get a placenta transplant because I had so much scar tissue that built up in my eyelids through here that it was attacking my eye. And so I had a placenta put on my eye, and it actually has helped it quite a bit. But you'll see in other videos that I'm gonna do that my eyes break open, and it's embarrassing. But I'll show you my tips and tricks to hide it so that it doesn't have to be quite as embarrassing as it is. Okay, so I'm gonna go ahead and take that same stick and just kind of dab it over there and take some of the color out of that. Now, I really don't feel like you can mess up using this stick because it all gets hidden underneath our foundation. But, you know, it's just something that I like, and like I said, I've figured out it works for me. And hopefully it'll give you an idea of something that will work for you. So after I get all my like major areas, I also have some scarring through here that I just wanted to grab. Let's see. And maybe a little bit in through here. I mean, it is what it is. So I'm gonna go ahead and take my beauty blender. Sorry, it's really dirty today, huh? And I use the Urban Decay Quickie Fix. I use that on my beauty blender because it kind of helps push it in and it kind of helps it stick. And it's just something I've learned through other people, that it's a little trick that they use to use primer to kind of stick it in and make it stay on your skin. So as I'm doing this, you can start to see that my skin is starting to even out some. I don't have those big, huge splotches. Hopefully when we're all done, you'll be thinking that this was a great idea. So here we go. I'm gonna go ahead and work with foundation now. Let me see. I'm trying to think as I go. I'm just not very good. Actually, I'll start with this. This is the Bye-Bye Under Eye, and it's Illumination. And this stuff is like, I just love it. It takes away my under eye issues. It covers almost everything. It's just great. So what I'm gonna do is I go ahead and put it on my ring finger, and that way, you know, you're not pulling and tugging, and I just kind of lightly pat it into the area. And already, oh, that eye's looking so much better. Like already, this side of my face looks more awake and alive and ready to play, where this side is just kind of like, oh, I'm sad. Do you see the difference? I hope so. I've had lupus, I think, my whole life. I remember times where I would hurt so bad that I wouldn't want to get out of a chair, and I'd cry, or wanted to cry. I didn't really cry, but I wanted to cry when I thought about leaving the kitchen table because it was going to hurt so bad to stand up. And I always thought I was just being a wuss, and so I never said anything to anyone. And I just kind of thought that was normal. And whenever I'd go in for blood work or anything, nothing ever came back abnormal. So I thought, well, if there's surely something wrong with me, I'm going to find out through blood work. And it turns out, you know, they're not necessarily looking for those markers that they did. And so finally, after my second baby, I went in and I said, oh my gosh, I think I have arthritis. And the doctor laughed at me and she was like, you don't have arthritis. You're 25. You're much too young to have arthritis. And I said, I'm telling you, I really think I do. And so she did some blood work and it came back that I had the markers of lupus. And they really diagnosed me within a month because I had so many issues. I was flaring all at once. Now, I'm flaring right now, which is a little sad to me because I've been doing chemo since February, and I just felt like I was hoping that this would be the thing to put my lupus in remission, and it turns out I don't think it will be. Now, I know you're like, that's not your under eye, and I should have said something. I just like this because it really does lighten up your face. And I promise I'm going to go in with a foundation so my whole face isn't going to look ghost white. I'm just trying to start out with a great base so that when I do go in with my foundation, it can sit on top of something that's already good instead of trying to cover up the things that aren't. So, here we go. I am looking for my foundation. Oh gosh. I wonder where it went. Well, okay, we will use this. This is one of the items that I use. There's several different ones. This one is that Dermacool, however you want to say it, and it was shown on Facebook quite a bit. It was shown on YouTube quite a bit, and it's known as the end-all say-all for covering up everything under the sun. Now, I think it's great. There is one or two things that I feel like it doesn't cover quite as much or quite as well for me, but today I'm going to show you what I do using this. And then maybe next time I'll show you what I use, or a different thing that I use. I'll just keep showing you the different options that we have. So I'm going to go ahead and put a good size amount on my wrist, or my hand. And then I'm going to grab my beauty blender, and I'm going to go ahead and kind of work it in, and then kind of stick on the different areas that I'm going to highlight with the foundation. I hope you guys don't get ready and like you're not messy, because I swear by the end it looks like I've gone through war sometimes. Like there's powders everywhere, there's foundation everywhere. It's just like, oh gosh, what has happened in this bathroom? Now, what I like about this foundation is that it leaves a sheen, and it kind of makes your skin look really healthy, even if it's not. So on the days when I'm sitting there and I'm feeling really gross, those are the days I try extra hard to look my best, because it helps me feel like me. And I don't know if that makes sense, but I feel like if you're sick with lupus, you get what I'm saying, because you just want to feel like my whole life existence isn't because of it. My whole life existence is to enjoy life and live life and be happy about my life. And so much of my life gets taken away from the things I can or can't do, or the doctor's appointments I need to do, or the different things like being out in the sun, and my kids do sports, and it's like, how much sun will I end up with, and will my rashes come out? I don't know. Summertime is the worst time. I seem to flare every single time it's summer, because I'm outside with my kids all the time. And I want to be outside with them, but at what cost? I mean, if it's going to put me down for months at a time, is it really worth it? And I'm just not quite sure. But obviously, since I am flaring, it was worth it to me this summer. We did go to the beach, and we swam a lot at the pool, and I really was focusing on trying my best to give my kids the summer that they need. So, as you can see, I'm working on my areas. Short little light taps, trying to push that into my skin. Especially in the problem areas. And you don't want to forget about your scalp, your neck, any of those areas, because you don't want to look like you're wearing too much makeup. You want to make sure that it's hidden very well. Okay, so then after I've done that, I just kind of want to let it sit. And usually after this is when I do my eyes. But I did my eyes before we got started, just so that I could skip that step. So usually I let it settle in, let it attach to my skin, if that makes sense. And I just take a few minutes while I'm doing my eyes to let it settle. That way I can see where my areas are going to come out that still need a little bit of help, and I can work on those. I usually always use a setting powder, just because I live in the South, and it's very hot and humid all the time. It's so hard for me. I grew up in California, and we did not have the humidity like they have out here. And I will literally go outside and sit down to watch a baseball game, and 3 seconds later I'm already pouring sweat, and I'm thinking, oh my gosh, is my face falling off? Am I gonna have an eyebrow when this is all done? Or is my eyebrow gonna be smudged all over, and are people gonna be staring at me? And so a setting powder is always a good idea for us. This one is just from Sephora. Let's see, it's the Sephora 25 Beige, and this one is the 8-Hour Wear Mattifying Compact Foundation. And I really enjoy this one. So the same thing, I'm just gonna kind of powder it in. Now here's another part to this. I wear a lot of hats, and I try and protect my face from getting too much sun. But because of that, my neck and my body are definitely a different color than my face. And so sometimes I wear shades that are probably too dark for me on my face just so it looks more natural in comparison to my neck and the rest of my body. And that's just something that I like to do. Plus, dark colors tend to hide better than light colors. So if you're going darker, it's easier to hide any imperfections that you may have because you're going darker. Okay, so now that I have this on, make sure and get good coating. Now we're going to go ahead and add in our blushes and our highlights. So, I actually just got this in the mail yesterday, and I'm excited about it. It's called the Sephora Golden Hour, and it's in shade 03 High Moon, and it's basically just like a glimmery, like pretty color, and you can see as it goes on, look, you can see the shine already. Like, hello, does that not look great? And it looks super natural, and I am just in love with this product. Now, I totally like do my nose liberally, I do my cheeks liberally. I just want my face to look radiant. I want it to look like the opposite of how I feel. So I go ahead and put this, and it looks like I'm healthy, happy. I mean, honestly, doesn't it just add so much? It is so great. I mean, truly, I really love it. And it also goes to hide some of my problem areas, which is very nice. Now I'll go ahead and grab a blush. And one of the tricks that you can use, and that I often use, is using a lipstick as a blush. But today I am going to go ahead and use this Be Matte blush by My Be Matte. By My Be Matte. It's something I got in one of my ISPs, and I just really liked it. So I'm going to mix two of the colors. You can see I'm like down to the pan. I'm not so big on the purple for blushes, but these two colors look really cute together. So I go ahead and do a little bit of both, and then I start, and I kind of like try and contour a little bit of my face, but not really doing a true contour. And then I go ahead and I take it up on my forehead and do a little bit on my nose, just so that it doesn't look unnatural. And just kind of a little bit all around with what was left on my brush. So now I have this nice glow. My skin kind of matches my chest a little bit better. I don't have those big dark circles. I mean, I obviously have the pits, but I don't have these really awful, ugly dark circles that look like you're not well. And we all know what I'm talking about. So then my last touch is, you're going to think I'm crazy because everything's Sephora, but this is the Sephora Midnight Magic, and it's their glitter pots in 03 holographic. So I go ahead and I get some on there. I dip my brush in and I add in the holographic. Now this is going to take away a lot of our swelling. Just the way that the light fragments, it just makes everything look a little better. And that's what we need. We need hiding. We need to work on hiding our ugly, not really our ugly, but hiding our disease. So I just go ahead and I add it where I can. The areas that my face would probably light up anyway. So your forehead, your nose, your cheeks, maybe a little bit in the chin area. And then I'm going to go back to my stick that I was using, which I guess I need to be more organized if I'm going to do this more often. But here it is. And I'm going to go ahead and just kind of try and get a little bit more color to come off these areas. And the reason why I do this now is because now I see what's going to be hidden and truly what won't be. And so I always like to try and smile because your face moves when you smile. And so that kind of shows me like, okay, what areas am I going to need to work on? And there's one. Okay. And what I'm going to do here is just kind of try and blend it into looking as natural as possible. And there we have it. It's a big difference from what I started out with. Now, it's not my ideal favorite way to hide things, but it is one of the ways. And I will be videoing other ways that I use, but this is just one way that's fairly simple to go ahead and use when you're trying to hide the molar rash, or, you know, just any rash in general. Another tip that I use is that I like a lot of blush. I mean, sometimes, have you ever heard you just have to give people something to focus on, and then they won't focus on what you don't want them to see? So if you give them a bold blush, they're not going to be seeing what's underneath it. They're just going to be looking at the blush. So that's just me. Plus, my skin tends to fluff off makeup, and so I always go with more, and it works. Anyways, that's it for today, and I will go ahead tomorrow and show you a different way. If you feel like looking at it, I would love to have you join me. I'd love to get to know you. Go ahead and like me, and let's be friends. Okay, thanks. Have a good day.